Who will be Brian Shaw's next arm wrestling opponent? That is the question today. I'm going to play a clip that is actually from about a month ago from Brian's YouTube channel. You may have seen it. He hasn't really spoken too much recently about who his next opponent may be on the arm wrestling table. He has indicated that he does intend to have another match. He's just not so sure who his next opponent is going to be. Let's hear what he says right here. Again, this was uploaded about a month ago.
When will be your next super match for arm wrestling and any possible opponents? I don't know exactly when the next super match will be. I've talked with several different people about this. Devin seems to think that John Brzenk would be a great match. I did talk to John about this in the past. You know, he went through a surgery and coming back, and I'm still training. So I want to make sure first and foremost that John would feel comfortable with that, and also that I would feel comfortable with that, because John Brzenk is an absolute legend, and still, even at his current age and the shape that he's in, is still a monster on the arm wrestling table. So I have all the respect in the world for John. I would love to make that happen at some point in the future. I don't know when exactly that makes sense, but there's a number of other people that have been discussed as well. And I'm excited to keep training, to keep learning, to keep improving, and get back on the table here at some point. Who was your
So notice that is the entirety of his answer. He doesn't mention any other potential matches. I don't think he wants to. Brian's not the type of person who really wants to put a lot of speculative information out there without anything really being concrete. I think he is pretty sure that he does want to have a match with John Brzenk at some point. I do think that even in this moment, he probably had some other names in the back of his head that, again, I just don't think he wants to put all this info out there that may not end up being true. So I just think that's the type of person that Brian tends to be. I do think that there are a couple other people that he could potentially pull other than John Brzenk. And there is actually one guy who I think will be his next match. And we're going to take a look at this video that Devin just uploaded where he's talking about the upcoming, I believe it's an East versus West event in Germany, mid-April, where he is supposed to pull Vitali. Again, I don't think that's set in stone, confirmed yet, so my fingers are crossed on that one. I think everybody wants to see that, regardless of the outcome of the Levon match. Now, let's see what he says.
And we have special guests coming tonight.
Yeah. Leonidas, I think. He hasn't sent me his ticket yet, but I think Leonidas is supposed to come tomorrow, and we'll have him, and we're gonna start training up. Hopefully, we're gonna find an opponent for him for hopefully the big event in Germany on the, I think it's gonna be the 18th, where
Of April.
Of 18, yeah, that's right.
April.
Where I'm pulling Vitali, if fate holds true to our wishes.
If fate holds true, so just confirming it's not confirmed by any means, and we know how these Russian arm wrestlers can be with their matches, so let's see what happens with that. But anyways.
But yeah, it'd be great to have Leonidas at that event. I don't know. The first three names that pop into my mind: Brian Shaw, Andrei Smaev, Kirill Sarychev.
Okay, so again, the first name that pops into his mind, Brian Shaw. Devin has talked about this matchup in the past. He's brought it up to Brian. I have a feeling that just given the timeline, being mid-April, being that these are two guys that come from strength sport backgrounds, I personally believe this is the match that is going to be made next. So Brian Shaw versus Leonidas in April in Germany. That's just what I think. Could end up being totally wrong, but that's my prediction. I do want to talk quickly about how he mentioned Andrei Smaev. Personally, Andrei Smaev, don't get me wrong. I mean, I would love to see this guy compete in arm wrestling. I think everybody would. I mean, if you look at this guy's proportions, if you look at the size of his wrist, his hand, this guy is hardly even a human. It's ridiculous how big this guy really is. And it seems like he has everything that anyone would need to be absolutely dominant in arm wrestling if he really, fully trained and put everything forward. That being said, I really, at least as of right now, I don't see that happening. I've seen a lot of videos where he has talked about getting into arm wrestling competitively, and he just doesn't seem like he has any real interest in really entering into the sport at a competitive level. You see sometimes him sparring with Kirill Sarychev, or even the videos with him and Denis Saplenkov. And I think it's kind of more of just a hobby for him. I think he does enjoy training his hand and his wrists and his forearms. He likes messing around on the arm wrestling table here and there, but nothing that I have seen at all when we're actually watching videos of him suggests that he is seriously looking at getting into arm wrestling competitively. I know a lot of people like to talk about this guy getting into the sport, but personally, I don't think, at least right now, from what he's saying, I'm not really holding my breath on that one, so to speak. Anyways, I know I got a little off topic there, but anyway, Devin's saying, again, the first name that pops into his head, Brian Shaw. I do believe, personally, that's my prediction. That is the match that is going to happen, is Brian Shaw versus Leonidas Arcona, most likely at this Germany event in April. Just to recap with Leonidas's matches, so he has faced Larry Wheels on both arms. He went through Larry clean sweep both matches. This match with Schoolboy that he had back last year in April on 420, actually, nice. If you guys haven't seen this match, go watch it. I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube for free now. Go watch this match. Absolute banger. I mean, roller coaster of a match. Amazing, incredible. Go watch that match. Really well done, Leonidas. I don't think a lot of people were expecting that result. Leonidas is a beast. And then, of course, you know, he gets 3-0'd by John Brzenk and 4-0'd by Devin Lara. Okay, not too much shame there, especially with Devin. I do think this would be an interesting match. Personally, I would rather see Brian Shaw face a more established, well-known name within the arm wrestling community. Someone who, I guess at the end of the day, is a professional arm wrestler, not a strength sport athlete that dabbles in arm wrestling. For me, you know, I really want to see Brian continue on his arm wrestling journey, and to kind of know exactly where he's at, I would love to see him face somebody who we kind of have a good idea of where they are in the arm wrestling hierarchy because of all the matches and experience that they've had. You know, okay, I was going to say Derek Smith. I don't think a lot of people would like me saying that, because there's you know, a lot of people are saying that not interested in Derek's matches anymore. I don't necessarily feel that way. The point is, I'd rather see him face someone a little more established in the sport. You know, obviously, I'm not saying throw him to somebody like near the top of the super heavyweight division. Of course not. But you know, I would still like to see him face someone that's a little more established in the sport. I'm not going to complain if he faces Leonidas. I think that's a very interesting matchup. It would be interesting to see, and I do think it would be a close match. So, anyways, that's what I think. What do you guys think? Maybe I'm way off. Maybe you think he's going to face John Brzenk or somebody else. Let me know what you think is next for Brian, or what you would like to see for Brian Shaw.